noticed something? Yes, I have finally completed the New York to Chicago high-speed line that you have all been wanting. It is not only a New York to Chicago line, but rather an east to Midwest line connecting the five major cities of the Northeast directly towards the major Great Lakes cities of the Northwest, including Cleveland, Detroit, and Chicago. This episode will be focusing on the last stretch that I did, which will be between Pittsburgh and Cleveland. It'll have stops in Rochester, PA, Youngstown, Ohio, Ravenna, Ohio, and Bedford, Ohio. Based on the color of the line, this is a 300 km/h line with electrification. If you want further clarification on what the colors mean, I'll go a rundown through them. Blue, light blue, like here, is electrified high-speed rail. Mostly like higher speed is given preference over using existing track. Orange is like lower but still high-speed diesel trains, maybe 230 to 250 km/h. And its focus is more on using existing tracks over building brand new tracks. White is a tunnel and red is a viaduct. So let's get to it. Line will start at Pittsburgh Central, right where we left off with the other line. It will be an extension of the other line. Line will curve slowly, cross the Allegheny River, go next to Route 279, and then after some curves exiting the river, it will build up speed slowly to 300 km/h. This is a 6-track line, so the 2 innermost tracks will be electrified and the remaining 4 tracks will be for goods trains. This line is straight, so not much curve straightening is required even for 300 km/h runs. Here may be a little bit of curve straightening, but nothing too extreme. We'll continue along now the Ohio River. Nothing too major, right? And you're already at Rochester, which is the center of Beaver County. Now, if you remember my original New York to Boston high-speed rail video, I had express high-speed and regional high-speed. Now, there is a tunnel for the express high-speed to go under Rochester without having to slow down drastically to pass through this curve here. And the regional high-speed will stop here. Now, why Rochester, PA over any other place? Central Western PA, it's like all this region here. Butler County, maybe to some extent even Armstrong County, and definitely Beaver County will be served by this station well. This is actually reasonably populated along the Route 79 and 376 corridors, so I think a station in this area, especially Beaver County on the Ohio River, will work very well. We're still in PA. The line will continue along the river. Right after crossing the river into Beaver Falls, it will make a 2-mile-long tunnel to avoid these bendy curves here, to say the least. You can't even run a train at 200 km/h on those. So 2-mile-long tunnel passing underneath the hills here. It will emerge from the tunnel only to enter a tunnel again. Now this is mainly a ridge here. I could have actually done a viaduct here, but it's mostly a ridge in which the elevation of the land goes up, plus you have to cross Interstate 76. So I decided to tunnel the railway underneath this area. Line will emerge, and now this is fully existing track for a while. I'll tell you why. The river gets really rugged, to say the least. So you'll have to spend about 20 miles more or less building new tracks. Though I do think it will be worth it in the long run, as this is still the main line connecting the Midwest with the Northeast. I wouldn't say we are in either I consider Pittsburgh to be more a Midwestern city since the rivers flow into the Midwest and it's more connected to there. Not as many mountains, but we're not fully in the Midwest yet. That's Ohio. So the line will continue on a new track. Here there'll be a viaduct over Interstate 376 as there's a natural valley there. And by the way, on this entire new section here, I'm trying to minimize any destruction of property. There may be a few farms that will have to be dismantled for this line to be in place, but schools and major residential neighborhoods will not be affected. Like here I had to curve the line quite a bit, but this is brand new track, so I think full speed operation shouldn't be a problem here. Going around the school here and the golf course, so it has to like weave around all of this, but doing that while maintaining full speed, I think this is a good way for it to go. Plus the elevation differences are not that much. Thankfully there are no other ridges that I need a tunnel or a viaduct. Until here there's a ridge right next to the river here, so guess what, a 2-mile long tunnel going back to the existing track. Once on the existing track, you go a little more than a mile and you see a line. This line means something. It is a division between two townships, the division between two counties, the division between two states, Ohio and Pennsylvania, and we are now officially in the Midwest. Western Pennsylvania I don't really count, it's like its own area, but once you're in Ohio, you are officially in the Midwest. The line has made it. Now we just have around 60 or so miles to go to Cleveland, and that's when the full line will be completed. So it will go at full speed along the existing line. Obviously upgrading and curve straightening will be needed to require, along with concrete railway ties and whatnot, in addition to separating goods traffic from passenger traffic. But the line will slow down and enter Youngstown on the south side of the river. Reason I did south side is that it connects much better to the existing line than does north side. North side will be much harder turns to get there. The line unfortunately will have to go slow, at around 60 miles per hour or 100 kilometers per hour to exit Youngstown. But once past Route 193, it can go at full speed again. Right before going past Route 80, it will enter a 2.5-mile long tunnel. This is the longest tunnel in this portion of the proposal. It will go under McDonald Hill and it will emerge on the existing line west just south of Niles. And here, very little upgrading to do, maybe some minor curve straightening, passing through the Ohio towns. Stop at Ravenna is the next one. Now you may be asked, why Ravenna? It is geographically the closest to Akron, with only around a 15 to 20 minute drive from the city center. Akron's not well served by any railway line, so I think this will be the perfect balance between high speed and regional service. Regional as in serving all areas. Akron and even to some extent Canton can get here instead of having to drive all the way to Cleveland, get on the line and go from there. After Ravenna, the line will start to curve towards the northwest as it enters the Cleveland suburbs. It will have a stop in Bedford, which is the heart of the southeast Cleveland urban belt. As you can see, along this corridor here, there's more development than around it, and Bedford is at the center of that, and it's still a good 10 miles from Cleveland, so I think a stop here was worth it. After Bedford, the speed will be reduced to 250 kilometers per hour as it enters inner Cleveland suburbs, and even down to 200 as it gets closer and the curviness of the track increases. Also, any potential grade crossings will be replaced with bridges. That should not be too much of a problem on this line. I think a couple places in Youngstown it's a problem. But there you go, Cleveland Central Station. And from there, you can continue on west to Detroit and Chicago and eventually beyond. I'm thinking of a Milwaukee extension. There you go. That is a final New York to Chicago high-speed line. It took what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Webeos to do. First one was New York to Philadelphia. Second one I did in order was Cleveland to Detroit. Third one was extending the line to Chicago. Fourth was from Philadelphia all the way to Harrisburg. Oh no, it was actually 6. I did Philadelphia to Harrisburg and then Harrisburg to Pittsburgh. That was 2 sections. So this was the 5th section, and then now what I just did was a 6th. But there you have it. Now this section will probably be the last to be built, but if it can be done, we have finally got the connection between the East and the Midwest. Now what's next? I actually want to probably do some roads videos. The fans of roads are getting a little annoyed by this proposal, so I'm going to go away to that for a couple weeks. After that, my next master plan is going to be cooler, extending this high-speed line and making Webeo westward go southward from Pittsburgh. This is just an approximation to Columbus, Cincinnati, Louisville, Nashville, Memphis, Little Rock, and Dallas. I'll increase the width for you to see that, but that is the approximate proposal I'll be doing in the future. Look at how you can connect it. Just this one little section can serve here, maybe along the Interstate 70 corridor there could be another line, and along the Interstate 90 corridor there'll be yet another line. This one little, I guess, bridge of the Appalachian Gap, or Appalachian Thoroughfare, I guess, will link all the Northeast with the Northwest, Central West, and the Southwest. By the way, did you mention extending this line to Austin, San Antonio? Webeo really goes far with its proposals, and we are extending beyond the Northeast to reach more communities through the proposals. I hope you enjoyed this Webeo. Next time, I'll be back to something in roads, so if you enjoy roads, please stay tuned. If not, you'll have to wait until the next Webeo, which will go into Ohio and Kentucky and Tennessee, but I'll bet you'll enjoy it either way. Thank you and goodbye.